I would like to help welcome you all to Barcelona. So as was already mentioned, this very nice building just across the road. So if you go out a bit from the main door, you will see us from there. I'm a bit afraid to disappoint you all because, as you might know, we don't have anything in terms of of data management. However, we have an idea, right? And the idea is to start from the outset with already our mind made to tackle data management and how we'll move things around the different infrastructures that we might have. And this is basically what I'm going to show you today. So a bit of publicity and about the sponsor and about the foundation that is behind all the museum, the institute, and several other initiatives. So this is the second largest foundation in Europe in terms of money-wise. Apart from very different things, there's a support for science, and the support for science it's around 100 and something million euros per year, and this support gives structural support to several research institutions that you can see here, right? The IRSI, Caixa, IS Global, VIO, Valdebron, Barcelona Beta, GIM, and São João de Deus. So all these, except GIM, are located in Barcelona. And one reason why we also, it was mentioned Biomedical Data Hub, because the stuff that we are trying to do or trying to set up, it will not be only for the institute. We are trying to do something bigger, more ambitious, which is also give support somehow to all the institutes that are somehow connected to La Caixa. So the institute is the first institute in Península Ibérica dedicated to immunology, so are fully dedicated to the single thematic institute. Of course, that immunology touches a lot of areas. So there's a lot of coverage and stuff that we do, the technologies that we are going to use, they cover a lot of things. And the way we are trying to approach the way science is done from a technical perspective, as director of technology, this is what I should be thinking of, is try to set up the institute in a way that we are not building an institute for next year. We are building an institute for the next 10, 20 years. So how science is going to be made. And my prediction, and not only mine, but from several peers and people in the area. So we are moving. So maybe in the 90s in biomedical research, there's a lot of bench space, for example, a lot of space for people to pipette, and this somehow has been shifting to more maybe already in this century and beginning of the century, more into facilities type of work. So there's a core technologies, core facilities that people go there. They have large instrumentation, and they deliver a lot of stuff to these core facilities. You work with them, and you get the data. Then, of course, what you do with the data is what we should focus. However, I think that and it's already happening now, and it will be over and over more like this. We are moving from a paradigm that is not so much you collaborate with the facility, but you collaborate in a different way. So facilities are becoming more like a contract research organization, small contract research organization in the institute, where you just deliver the sample, and you get the result. And you have a full pipeline of analyses that people can do, machines, etc. So everything integrated in the single workflow. And this gives a lot of opportunity also to better structure data, because if is less interactions with whatever you are doing on the hands are not in the hands of a user, that it tend, different people tend to work differently. So we might take this opportunity to be more structured and also bring this, how do we handle data? And this is where we are trying to put our efforts into. And so where this interaction comes, the initial interaction with the user for us, it will be extremely important, because it's when the user comes to you, when a researcher comes to you and say, I want to do this, do that, and I do this with these conditions, with this sample, et cetera, et cetera. This is also metadata, and it's very, very, I think, very important metadata that we should preserve. And of course, it's a pain for the user at the beginning. However, in my opinion, it's much easier at the beginning to have this information from the user than have it afterwards. So if people upfront, if they tell you already all the ontologies, all the samples, all whatever, most information that you can have from the beginning, it will help a lot than how you structure your data and how you complement with other things, of course. Our approach for the Institute is exactly this. So let's try it from when someone needs something from you. This is where you should request things. You should request information. Of course, you should do it. You do it information once, and that's it. You don't repeat that. You should take it. You should take this metadata with you. And the scheme it's very simple. You define or data steward some minimum metadata requirements that you should give to someone that is providing the service for you. And these metadata requirements then eventually can be enhanced, of course, with data that comes from the machine. The data itself, it comes, as you know better than me, comes with a lot of rich information that you can also structure in a structured way. So if it comes from a flow cytometry, for example, instrument, it's very well structured, because luckily the very little or the only technology that I know that the file system, the way the file is set is always the same, which is amazing. If you go to imaging, you have hundreds, if not thousands, of different file formats. If you go to flow cytometry, you have one. So this is something, for example, that we could start to build our pilot around this technology. Of course, that if you request this information from the user and then you complement it with whatever comes from the machine, you can build up FDO, so a fair data object that contains everything, the data metadata, and this is a concept that you most likely know, and you can enable this automatically in a data discoverable way. So means that when eventually you request again this very same experiment or similar experiment, if the system is smart enough, it will tell you, look, maybe you don't need to do this experiment because the metadata that you put it there is already in our system. So eventually, for flow cytometry, maybe this is not so useful, but it can be. But other technologies, for example, spatial transcriptomics, and hopefully you might know or not about this, but spatial transcriptomics generates a lot of data, and usually the scientists they only look at the very specific part. So once you do the experiment, you can reuse it a lot. So if this metadata is from the beginning, we can be, for example, as smart as we can be, and this can save a lot of money, because running an experiment like this costs maybe 20,000 euros. So if you can save this, of course, just by searching metadata, it'd be very interesting. And of course, you get more prepared. And if you have to put this in a repository, open repository, you already have things very well enriched. So basically, this is what we have in mind in terms of setup. As I was telling you, we are just starting and the building in just around. I'm not here to publicize more this, but actually we are hiring. So if you want to have a look, and you'll be hiring people on data management next year. This is more bioinformatics type of. So have a look. the way we are going to set up physically is that we are going to have on-premise data center, and this data center will be a federated system that would give service not only for the institute, but as I was telling you, the institutes that are around this same ecosystem, which means that if, I hope so, but if this data discoverable is not only for the institute, but all the repositories that are within these 7 institutes, maybe the data discoverability via metadata, it gets more relevant, because then you are not searching across one institute, you are searching across 7 different institutes. If we have the same methodology, so that you can take advantage of complementing things so even for people more in the scientific computing, that they have access to data that otherwise it's very hard to know and to find that it really exists. So the way we are setting up is the data center here with like mid-high capacity for our size, of course, to give also support in terms of storage and in terms of scientific computing to these 7 institutes, with external partners, meaning, for example, if we need more compute capacity, we can use Barcelona Supercomputer Center. We don't need to build, something very large. And there's also partners here around, which is the CESUC consortium of universities in Catalonia, and that they can also have a data center that you can use, for example, for backing up our things that we have. So. Just a picture of a mock. So now it's already reality. If you go there, you will see it. And once more, thank you so much, and have a very nice meeting. Thank you.